I don't know what possessed me to come in from freezing cold weather and eat freezing cold carrots with cold ranch and pepper. I'm cold, but I'm just trying to warm up in my little softie. But what I was thinking, right? When you think about feminine or like feminine energy, think about the word woman, right? Woman is two components of a female and a male, makes up what a woman is. But men or somewhere through history, had to be different, and just to make themselves different or, to set apart, they call themselves men. But there was once upon a time we were all women, right? And even like to the masculine ego probably listen to us right now, like, I ain't no woman. Right? You are. But, when I say woman, and it's just, somebody coming out of the womb, a womb man. You are a woman. I'm a woman. You're a woman. I'm a dude. He's a dude. She's a dude. We're all dudes. But except for we're women, right? But I was just thinking about that term, right? So I'm like, okay, so if a man is inside of woman, describe like the skies, like, just sitting inside of there like that, right? So I'm like, what about feminine energy? Is masculine energy really inside of feminine energy? Feminine energy is the complete embodiment of the spirit. And that kind of just makes me think about Jesus again. I can't let some of these subjects go, right? So we know he was masculine, the divine feminine energy, right? So, and we know Mary was the masculine, but we know, well, as what I'm starting to understand now, that it was just a science or a math equation to separate one cell into other parts. First, it separated the one cell into two equal parts. And then two equal parts became three equal parts. That's where I'm getting at with like the Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Because like Noah in itself, like, or Nuah, however you want to say it, it meant like water, like, primordial waters, right? And so that's why like Noah was used in the story of the flood, like the name, to tell you that the waters that cleansed the earth came from the divine, right? And a lot of people saw that as like, or just, yeah, I ain't gonna get into all of that. But my point for this showing that what if the feminine energy is the complete embodiment? Like a woman is both men and female. Like women have to be, sometimes mom and dad. Like not saying that men don't have to be, but just naturally, women, we're nurturers, protectors, just naturally, right? And then where am I getting at with this story? But just thinking about like, what if the feminine is both masculine and feminine energy, but just have the name feminine? And then for masculine to set itself apart, to say like, I am better or I'm stronger. Because like I said, feminine or like woman is from in the womb. Man is of like will be like a being, like a woman, but not from the womb. So now that just got me starting to thinking like, what are we? Like the son of man, son of God. But I got to go back and read terms, which I know, but I'm just trying to explain it in other different ways because I said before, like, if it's truth, it don't matter where it come from, the truth will still line up the same way. So now, but that's just where I'm at now, is that the masculine and the feminine is really what feminine energy is, the strong and the weak point. But here down in the 3D plane, because maybe it wasn't understood, like the 60s, 70, 15D, maybe that ideal wasn't understood. Or maybe just like how the story goes, the kid wanted the power for itself. In the story where it tells about like Lucifer wanting to go against God and God didn't destroy it and all this other thing. So I don't know. And then again, like it went down to like it just being thoughts. you can't destroy a thought. Like you can just remember it, move on from it, and let it pass. It passes on, and a thought can become anything else. And just like my mind would just jump into a lot of things. Like I've been drawing out the letters Q, R, and K, which yesterday Q led me back to science, interestingly enough, because I love science. But Q led me back to science, and because it has had me looking at the keyboard, which I'll probably post a video later. I probably take a nap now. I'm not even gonna hold you. I'm a little tired. That's probably why I came in and got in bed and wrapped up in my softie. And I lay back on my little pillow and. But when I was just looking at the keyboard, and I know I've been talking about that. Let me pull it up on my phone, because it shows like the beginning of the keyboard is the Q, the end of it is peace, P. So I just in my head playing around Q for chaos. I spelled chaos QH, because Q goes for a lot of things. Q is really K is X. But I'm like, but Q is a mirror of P. That's the first letter on the keyboard. P is the N of the keyboard. And then like when you get to the next, I think it's A and L or A and K. No, it's L because it's 3 parts. But I'm like, yeah, A is a mirror, or is it K? I can't remember. J, K, L, something called L. Okay, so yeah, A is a mirror of L. And then, what was it? Z. I can't remember the last letter on the keyboard. But anyways, I wrote it all down on my notebook. But I'm like, the keyboard, but that's what got me on this topic about the masculine and the feminine again, coming from the same thing. Because just looking at the little numeric keyboard, like, yeah, I'm gonna just post a video later when I probably wake up from my little nap. But it led me back to science. And then, like I said, like Q being K, K being X. And then really, QI, because I watch like a lot of Cantonese movies, and I, follow like a lot of quantum stuff and, things like that. So I'm like, I'm like, I knew it separately, but just seeing it together, QI is chi, CHI is chi, NRG, and I'm just like Enoch or energy. I'm like, everything just keeps circling back around energy. So that's what got me looking at the keyboard. So I'm like, I'm gonna go ahead and take another deeper look, but just, wanted to point out that too, what I just figured out, which I knew like masculine and feminine. Sorry, that came out too fast. So I knew that the masculine and the feminine energies, they're supposed to go back together. But what I wasn't understanding beforehand, that third element, until I was looking into the science part of it now. I don't even have my notebook with me. But anyway, just looking into the science of it, just thinking about like all the chains that form together, the covalent bonds, and like all of these other things. Like I went into depth, like looking at it, and I'm like, that's the third element, was the pulled apart, trying to reattach itself back. And then even thinking about like how when, like a virus or something, you get the flu, and how it even, K tells B, hey, wake up, bro. It's got some intruders. And then, B got the 2 elements in it as well, the X and the Y protectors to go protect the body now. So I'm just like, okay, B, K, Y, X. And I'm just like, but that's just like all in my head. But I'm like, but I still haven't figured out what the R means yet. But the Q and the K definitely brought me back to energy. But I'm going to take me a little nap so I don't keep stuttering. I'm a little tired. And this happens every time I, get out grounding. So probably like my little reset, bring my chi back to Jackie. But I just wanted to share that with you guys.